So let's consider the limit of this function, 3x squared plus 5x minus 2 over x plus 2 as x approaches negative 2. By direct substitution, we have 3 times negative 2 squared plus 5 times negative 2 minus 2 all over negative 2 plus 2. Observe that our numerator becomes 0 and our denominator becomes 0. So what is now the limit of this? What is the limit of this now? So there are techniques on how to find the limit of this function. Okay? And we call this function as an indeterminate form of type 0, 0. Okay, so how do you find now the limit of the indeterminate form of type 0 over 0? So we have 3 techniques to do that. So there are 2 techniques to find the limit of the indeterminate form of type 0 over 0. First, we have cancellation of common factors, and the second is rationalization of radical expression. So balikan natin yung example natin kanina. Observe that your numerator can be factored out. That is the limit of 3x minus 1 times x plus 2. Okay? Then our denominator is x plus 2 as x approaches negative 2. Observe that we have a common factor here, x plus 2 and x plus 2, so we cancel that out. So this becomes the limit of 3x minus 1 as x approaches negative 2. Okay, so since ang naiwan na lang is a polynomial function, therefore, pwede na nating i-substitute. Okay, so we now have 3 times negative 2 minus 1, or the answer is negative 7. Okay, next example, we consider the limit of x squared plus 2x minus 35 over x minus 5 as x approaches 5. So if we use direct substitution, we have 5 squared plus 2 times 5 minus 35 all over 5 minus 5. Observe that yung numerator natin becomes 0 and the denominator becomes 0. Therefore, this is an indeterminate form of type 0, 0. However, kung i-observe niyo yung numerator natin, pwede natin siyang i-factor out. That is the limit of x minus 5 times x plus 7 over x minus 5 as x approaches 5. And we now have a common factor, that is x minus 5. So, pwede na natin siyang tanggalin. This becomes now the limit of x plus 7 as x approaches 5. So, since meron na tayong polynomial dito sa taas, therefore, the answer now is, pwede nating i-substitute. The limit of x plus 7 now is 5 plus 7. So, the answer is 12. Next, we consider the limit of 2x cubed plus 2x squared minus 3x minus 3 all over x plus 1 as x approaches negative 1. By direct substitution, we have 2 times negative 1 cubed plus 2 times negative 1 squared minus 3 times negative 1 minus 3 divided by negative 1 plus 1. Observe that yung taas natin magiging 0, yung baba magiging 0 din. Therefore, it is an indeterminate form of type 0 over 0. Okay? But then again, pag titignan natin yung numerator natin, pwede natin siyang i-factor. And the factors are x plus 1 and 2x squared minus 3 all over x plus 1 as x approaches negative 1. Then we now have common factor, so pwede nating tanggalin yan. May iwan na lang si limit of 2x squared minus 3 as x approaches negative 1. So pwede na tayong mag-direct substitution. That is now 2 times negative 1 squared minus 3, or that is equal to negative 1. Let's consider this limit x squared minus 81 over square root of x minus 3 as x approaches 9. By direct substitution, we have 9 squared minus 81 all over square root of 9 minus 3. Observe that the numerator becomes 0 and the denominator becomes 0. So this is in the indeterminate form of type 0 over 0. So what shall we do? Since meron tayong radical dito, we will use rationalization of radical expression. So how do we do that? So we multiply our radical with something para matanggal natin yung radical sign. And what is that? Okay, we multiply this by the conjugate of the denominator. What is the conjugate of our denominator? That is square root of x plus 3 over square root of x plus 3. Bakit natin to gagawin? Kasi remember, di ba, meron tayo nung a plus b times a minus b is equal to a squared minus b squared. So, ang gusto nating mangyari, lumabas ito, kasi pag in-square natin yung radical, mawawala na yung square root niya. Okay? So, how do we do that? I-multiply mo siya sa same terms pero different yung sign. Kaya dito, square root of x minus 3, i-multiply sa square root of x plus 3 para makuha natin yung ganitong forma niya. Okay? So that is now equal to limit of x squared minus 81 times square root of x plus 3 all over, so using yung a minus b times a plus b, we have now a squared is x minus 9 as x approaches 9. Observe that yung taas natin, pwede natin siyang i-factor into x plus 9, x minus 9. Right? So we now have this expression, x plus 9, x minus 9 times square root of x plus 3 all over x minus 9. And meron na tayo ngayong common factor, so pwede na natin siyang tanggalin. Therefore, we now have the limit of x plus 9 times square root of x plus 3 as x approaches 9. So by direct substitution, we now have 9 plus 9 times square root of 9 is 3 plus 3. Therefore, we have 108. So the limit of this function now as x approaches 9 is equal to 108.